far that I've seen.
I agree. I agree.
His opponent, Jace himself, McDarby David.
Jace himself.
I guess I'll say David McDarby instead of saying his name the way it was. I don't think he's Gerard Fabiano either there, Jeremy. Yeah, so David McDarby there on the right playing an updated version of Solar Flare. So this is something that we haven't seen at all. Very interesting list. He's got Augur of Bolas, Angel of Serenity, Gristlebrand, and Obsidat. One copy of Evil Twin because getcha. 4 Lingering Souls, Forbidden Alchemy, Thought Scour, Supreme Verdict, 3 Unburial Rites, 3 Liliana, 3 Azorius Charm, 1 Ultimate Price. I believe there's a deck tech up with him, so you guys may have already seen that. And we're going to get to actually see the deck in action here.
Now, the ways he has to create cards in the graveyard are his 4 Forbidden Alchemy, his 4 Thought Scour, and then Liliana of the Veil. Discard.
Yeah, that's quite a bit, though. In the meantime, those are pretty good cards on their own, whether or not they're throwing cards in the graveyard. The other way to get cards in the graveyard is to have Gerard Fabiano drown them into the graveyard. So David kind of taking full advantage of the popularity of Drown Yard in the format, and Gerard's going to maybe want those rest-in pieces that he has in the sideboard, but that's after game 1. We'll see how things go.
If you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Joey Pasco. If you look closely at David McDarby's hoodie, you will notice that David McDarby has declared himself for the Izzet.
Yeah. That's an Izzet pin. Is it?
I think it is.
It is. I have an Azorius pin. Azorius? Oh,
Notorious?
That doesn't work that way? Is it?
I guess I'm not sure.
Demir?
I don't know.
It's nonsense now.
Now,
right.
Gerard, I tried talking Gerard into declaring for Rakdos, because he is quite, I think, the Rakdos.
Yeah. But you're looking to see what he declared?
I don't know if he's declared at all. Gerard Fabiano. Oh, boy.
Oh, I like it.
Azorius.
Okay, he's got the Azorius land on the play, and a turn 2 Augur of Bolas from Gerard. We're underway. That's kickoff. Finds Azorius Charm and passes back to David.
Augur of Bolas versus land. It's going to start the beatdown.
Yes, he is.
Boom. Down to 19. Land, go.
You see an Evil Twin in David's hand. And Azorius Charm cycled to the end of turn for Gerard.
Now, depending on how Gerard has been either informed of by friends or watching David McDarby, his Psychic Strikes could be a real liability in this match.
They certainly could. Forbidden Alchemy there at the end of Gerard's turn. Resolves. And David gonna find, well, pretty much taking a look at his hand. Looks like he takes in a second Forbidden Alchemy, throwing into the graveyard 2 lands and a Thought Scour. So not an ideal Forbidden Alchemy for him, although it did just grab him another one, so not the worst Forbidden Alchemy either.
Alchemy into Alchemy. Augur stopping Gerard's beats.
Yeah. I don't think that was Gerard's primary method of winning the game anyway, so. Finds a Lingering Souls with the Augur and an end of turn Restoration Angel from Gerard. Blinks the Augur. And he finds a Psychic Strike. So we're going to see that, we're going to see those Psychic Strikes and see if they are the liability that we suspect they might be.
Well, I mean, it's a really mixed thing, right? He can actually put stuff into David McDarby's graveyard, but because David McDarby is filling up his own graveyard, it can actually mean that Gerard might be able to get a kill in a turn or 2 earlier.
Very true, very true. As you can see, David's already put 3 cards in his graveyard just with 1 Forbidden Alchemy. And we know he has a second.
4 mana.
Evil Twin from David McDarby.
Awesome. Awesome. For those of you who don't know, Evil Twin, black, blue, 2 for a star creature. It comes into play as a copy of a creature in play. and then has the ability to spend blue-black tap to kill a creature of the same name.
And that evil twin was Psychic struck.
And nothing bad came of it. Only land went into David McDarby's graveyard.
Nothing bad for Gerard.
Nothing bad for Gerard, yes. Well, I guess, have I tipped my hat? Which side I am rooting for?
I suppose you may have.
Now
I did already tip my hat and say Gerard's deck was my favorite so far in the tournament. So.
Well, we're not journalists. We're commentators.
That's true. All right. Angel smashed in for Gerard. Now David's turn here, trying to determine exactly what he can do. We see it on Burial Rites. I can see, I believe, an Angel of Serenity in his hand. We know he has Forbidden Alchemy there. We also know he has Lingering Souls. There you see Forbidden Alchemy. Very, very cool card. I know you see he's casting it. Instant speed card draw, you get your choice of the top 4 cards and the rest go into your graveyard, and in this strategy that's kind of like drawing 4 minus the number of lands you draw.
He takes a land.
You've got a lot of cards that are fine being in the graveyard. In fact, you've got several cards you want to go to the graveyard because of your Unburial Rites.
And a main phase Lingering Souls, obviously sorcery, so.
Think twice in response from Gerard?
Azorius Charm, I believe.
I think it was a Supreme Verdict. Oh, he cast Think twice, and he just threw Supreme Verdict off of it. And then syncopated
okay,
the Lingering Souls. So
thank you.
Very nice answer to Lingering Souls. Syncopate does exile the card, so...
The glare got me.
Yeah, it'll get you. It's quite like the rhythm in that way. It's going to get you.
In for 3.
Restoration Angel, yeah. Knocking David to 9. And a Sphinx's Revelation while David's tapped out. It's going to draw Gerard 4 cards here.
This is one of those moments that I call the boat tipping moment. Both players on a careful balance, and then they're both standing on that rowboat, and then one pushes his foot down really hard and the boat starts rocking. He does not know what can happen when David McDarby untaps, but he's hoping that by pushing right now, David will not be able to draw 4 cards.
Now Gerard, if he has some idea at this point of what he's facing down against, he figures the worst David can do is either Sphinx's Revelation himself, okay, I just got the same thing, alright, or Unburial Rites, something crazy, you know, like an Angel of Serenity potentially.
I don't believe has an Angel hit the yard?
No.
Yeah,
but there's one there he could just hard cast it, and that's exactly what happened. So Gerard is possibly fine with that because he does have Supreme Verdict in hand. So David's going to get to put the Evil Twin and the Augur of Bolas back in hand, but Gerard knows he has an answer for the Angel, and he also has David at 7. He may have another plan in mind, but we know he has an uncounterable answer for the Angel just in the Supreme Verdict. A lot of lands.
David McDarby very wisely, boom, look at that Jace. David McDarby very wisely does not target any of Gerard's creatures.
Yeah, no real need to. His guys trump those anyway. Augur of Bolas again is really, at this point, a roadblock for aggro creatures. David's like, fine. I don't have Goblin Guide in my deck.
Oof, tributes to Hunger. Think Twice, and Plains, all revealed by Jace, Architect of Will. David splits it 1 and 2. Gerard takes the tribute.
And Gerard finds a pretty perfect answer in the form of tribute, and that's exactly what he goes to. Tribute to Hunger. Gerard gains that life. It is not like Devour Flesh. For that 1 extra mana, you get to gain the life. And David gets to refill based off of the what he hid away with Angel of Serenity. There you see Tribute to Hunger. It's an instant speed sacrifice effect, just like Devour Flesh, except it costs 1 more, but you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So it's like you devoured the flesh. It's very, very flavorful in that way, where they've done that kind of with the sacrifice effects.
David McDarby at 3 life, a hand full of cards. Gerard explaining to him how he's gonna die.
Theoretically, if David doesn't already see how he's gonna die, he could cast the Angel of Serenity and remove the attackers from Gerard's. Yeah, and that's what he's gonna do.
Leaves the Augur.
Yeah, no reason to give him back the Augur. The Augur's a lot less threatening. David trying to think if he wants to remove a third creature. Decides not to, so he's going to get back an Angel of Serenity, and Gerard's going to get back a Restoration Angel, should David's current Angel of Serenity hit the bin. So
this loop of Angel of Serenity into Angel of Serenity, a very potent late game loop. David McDarby does not have Cavern of Souls in his main or sideboard to make it a kind of inevitable result, but there are very few counterspells in this format.
It does cost quite a bit of mana. It's very mana intensive to keep looping this, but it's, you know, you get a lot of bang for your buck.
Gerard attacks, David blocks, and then he casts Supreme Verdict, returning the angels to each of their hands. David McDarby gets an Angel of Serenity back, and Gerard gets the Restoration Angel back.
Gerard plays a Hallowed Fountain tapped, has a second copy of Supreme Verdict in hand, as well as an Augur of Bolus, Restoration Angel, and not quite what else, not getting a great look. Jace ticks up there to 3.
David McDarby at 3 life. The Restoration Angel in Gerard's hand represents a possible kill if he can't muster a defense. Angel, all in. Wow. Basically saying you got something?
Do you have an answer for my Angel? And apparently Angel resolves, removing another Angel of Serenity. Again, you see that loop. At this point, it's just a 1-card loop.
If Gerard can find a removal, well, pardon me, a non-Devour Flesh removal spell, he can win this. We see him think twice. He goes for the safer play right now.
Finds a Sphinx's Revelation. Jace is going to find a Planar Cleansing, Tribute to Hunger, and Augur of Bolus.
Wow.
This is quite the choice here. I think, in fact, I almost want the Tribute more because you can go Tribute, Restoration Angel at the end of David's turn.
Tribute or no, he says.
Yeah, and David thinks the same thing. At this point, Planar Cleansing is just a really expensive tribute. So, Tribute to Hunger now in Gerard's hand.
Gerard lays a land.
And it is a Watery Grave, comes into play untapped, paying the 2 life.
Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, so he verdicts here. Angel now back. David's got the Angel Serenity loop.
Then Augur.
Gerard is going to basically, it looks like he's trying to line things up so, well, Augur whiffs there. He's lined things up so if David continues to play the Angel Serenity loop.
Well, David knows that there is a Tribute to Hunger and a Restoration Angel in Gerard's hand.
Yeah.
So he knows that if he goes for it one more time, that he's dead. He has to do a different path.
The other thing, though, Gerard didn't leave up enough mana to both Tribute and play
he can just go Angel?
He can just go Angel and then untap and do it, but there was a handshake there. I think that was maybe a... I'm not sure what the handshake was about. It was just a mid-match handshake, just felt like it.
I think maybe what was said was, this is a great game. And you're like, yeah, it is. Shake?
Yeah, why not? So, an Augur of Bolus for David.
Augur finds nothing.
Both of those Augurs whiffed. One on each side of the table. Gerard's going to take a look. What is in the graveyard that I need to be worried about? A Thought Scour from David's going to mill Gristlebrand and Lingering Souls. Draws him a Hallowed Fountain. I believe he has an Unburial Rites in his hand. Gristlebrand not as exciting when he can't draw cards, but he does have that 7/7 lifelink thing.
David McDarby looking for a path out of this potentially dangerous situation. Now, the problem, of course, with Tribute to Hunger for Gerard Fabiano is that it is untargeted removal. So David, going kind of a slow path here, goes for Spirits off of Lingering Souls from the Graveyard.
And passes the turn. End of turn, Gerard plays that Restoration Angel, blinks the Augur, and is looking for something, finds an Azorius Charm. So what he really wants to do is basically just kill those spirits and attack. Don't know. So he ticks up Jace.
Yep.
Plays a land. Looks like Godless Shrine there.
Attacks with Restoration Angel.
And yeah, he's gonna
Spirit.
deal with the spirits that way, I suppose. Passes back. If he could just top deck some sort of Searing Spear effect. I guess that's what Restoration Angel is.
David McDarby now with Supreme Verdict, amongst many other cards. Liliana, Unburial Rites, Angel of Serenity.
Both players with very full grips. I mean, David has like 6 cards. Gerard has 7, I'm pretty sure. Among those 7, he's got at least an Azorius Charm, a Sphinx's Revelation, a Tribute to Hunger, which David knows about. David also knows about the Azorius Charm. So it looks like Spirit's going to attack. And I think we're going to see the Supreme Verdict on Dave's side of the board.
Verdict.
All right, now we've done some cleaning, spring cleaning.
David McDarby
See a little-
still potentially dead to a Restoration Angel should Gerard Fabiano have one in his hand.
He does have Unburial Rights. He can cast it right now. He can access, at least there's an Angel of Serenity and a Gristlebrand in the graveyard that we know of. There's the Unburial Rights. Does it resolve? The fact that it wasn't snap counterspelled makes me think it's going to resolve, but Gerard could be slow rolling us here. He's saying, what card do you want? What's your logic here? What creature are you going for? Going for Angel of Serenity. And I think Gerard's saying, okay, resolves, and I'm going to Tribute.
That's what it looks like.
Oh, is he getting, is there some kind of...
Yes,
oh,
here's
he
what's
is-
happening.
Yeah.
He's targeting. Then Gerard Fabiano, after the target, is doing the tribute. Now, I believe Angel of Serenity says May. So David McDarby is not required to remove those cards. He is required to target them.
Yeah.
He is not required to remove them. However, if David McDarby doesn't realize this, he might end up removing them because he thinks he has to.
And a Sphinx's Revelation for 5 to round out the end of David's turn. Very, very cool play there from Gerard. An instant speed way to deal with the Angel before it gets its loop going.
And now Gerard, a huge mitt full of cards, gets a Drown Yard, has so many cards, in fact, that he cannot possibly empty enough. He's going to probably have to discard here.
Yeah, he does have another Psychic Strike. He's going to discard a Azorius Charm and a land. Has 7 now, passes the turn. He's set up to counter something here with that Psychic Strike.
Tapping some mana.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to flash back the Unburial Rights. And Gerard says Psychic Strike it. I don't know where the Unburial Rights actually is. Maybe it was just... Oh,
And it
was
gets another
exiled. Okay.
Unburial Rights. And he casts the fresh one.
All right, so there it is, exiled. It's
Syncopate, perhaps?
off screen. I believe there is a Syncopate. Well, he's going to Well, he has Snapcaster Mage, a nice altered version of Snapcaster Mage. Looks like an extended art version that he had done, possibly by one of the several alters.
Oh my goodness gracious! End of turn, also Restoration Angel. Downs the Jace just for more awesomeness. Land, land, think twice, or land. Gerard says think twice. Attack for the kill.
Azorius Charm and Syncopate. And
bam!
Woo! Game 1 with a
that was a good game.
Yeah,
good game.
It was a really good game.
And then Gerard with a little smile on his face that he's not trying to push it forth. And one of the things about Gerard is a great opponent. Really, really gregarious and fun to play against. He can be serious and he can have a good time. Yeah, one of my favorite Magic players of all time.
He is definitely one of my favorites as well. You see there, he did that first 17 damage very early in the game. Could not seem to do the last 3. David put the brakes on just at the right time, and then it was tight. Finally, Gerard finds a way to do it. I think he just kind of out counterspelled him because David has no counterspells.
That's what it looked like.
Not main deck anyway.
So Gerard Fabiano is definitely going to bring in some rest in peace. He's got 2 of them. I would actually also expect he is going to bring in Jace Memory Adapt.
Yep.
Yes, the milling your Solar Flare opponent can create a problem, but the +1 ability of drawing a card is an awesome way to bury a game in an attrition matchup like this. And then once you actually turn the gears and become the beatdown deck, once you're feel safe, Jace does kill very quickly. Also, you brought up counterspells. I think Negate is going to be a huge part of his plan. And then I think Duress will also be a part of his plan.
Yeah, you mentioned the rest in peace. Yeah, the other thing about Jace, as you kind of mentioned, and you mentioned it earlier, Dave's trying to throw cards into his graveyard anyway, so it sort of helps the cause, right? Like it helps David, but David's also helping Jace if that's the win condition.
Yeah. Now, David can actually become slightly less of a reanimation deck and just become a counter control deck as well, with Pithing Needle, Negate, and Dispel being able to fight things. Then bringing in Obsidat as a very hard for Gerard to deal with creature. Gerard does have some instant removal, but his ultimate price won't be able to hit it, and he only has a few instant removal.
Yeah, I mean, he can Azorius Charm Obsidat if it attacks. Then he's got Devour Flesh. He's got the 2 Tribute to Hungers, and obviously, ultimate price not going to work there. He's also got Snapcaster Mage to take advantage of any of those that he may have milled or used previously in the game. But yeah, Obsidat's still going to he has a narrower set of answers.
Yeah.
Than a lot of cards. Now there's a main deck Obsidat for David, and he's got the one additional one in the board, so he could certainly bring in the second one. Excuse me. So I still have to say I like Gerard's deck the best in this tournament. One card that he is not bringing in here, I don't think, that I was very surprised to see earlier. Gideon, Champion of Justice, just a one of in the board. Haven't gotten a chance to touch base with him about that, but I'm curious about the inclusion of it, and 2, I'm curious how it's been for him, because that's a Planeswalker that is currently pretty far under the radar, I think, and you see Domri Rad seeing a lot of play.
I'd be very curious how it's been doing for Gerard, what its purpose is. So yeah, that'd be a fun conversation to have. David McDarby gets an Unburial Rights off of his Augur.
In a funny way, I look at Gideon and I kind of see a 4-mana Obsidat without the drain. You have a guy that's going to dodge sorcery speed removal for the most part, and he's going to end up being like a 5/5. You're going to plus him the first turn, and then you have a 5/5. So it might be something along those lines. So David tries for Liliana. Gerard has the Negate, and Augur on the beatdown. David McDarby does not appear. Oh, he does have a 4th land. It looks like a watery grave there. Gonna play it tapped. Pass back. Think twice from Gerard. Draws a Hallowed Fountain. And then for the turn, I believe an ultimate price. So that'll deal with a Grizzlebrand if it ever resolves. End of turn, Forbidden Alchemy from David.
Forbidden Alchemy finds Augur, land,
Lingering
and
Souls?
Lingering Souls, I think?
That's a guess.
I think you're correct.
And he keeps, he binned Augur Land, Lingering Souls. What was the fourth card? Was it another land? I think he kept a land. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yep, pretty sure it was that Hallowed Fountain. So, Augur on the attack, and flashback Lingering Souls. I've got two dudes. We're gonna play a second Augur here. I think he is. He just kind of moves the other one out of the way, makes some room for your buddy. Plays a land untapped. Okay, no, he's got something different in mind. Passes the turn. Flashback Think Twice from Gerard. Didn't see what he drew. No, it's just a land.
Duress
Finds
off
a
the
Duress,
top.
yeah. So he's got Duress and I believe 3 or 4 lands, a Jace Memory Adept, at least one Supreme Verdict.
Lays a Nephalia Drownyard, says go. End of the turn, David McDarby, Forbidden Alchemy. Sees Azorius Charm, sees Dissipate.
Thought Scour.
Takes
and,
Dissipate.
Yeah, another Lingering Souls, I think.
In for 3.
Yep, Gerard now down to 14. David with still no juicy targets, I believe, in the graveyard for any Unburial Rights that he should find. I don't think he's found one yet. And you may be right; he may have gone on a different plan. You may not have the he may not have the Unburial Rights and the big targets or I imagine he keeps some of those targets in, but the Unburial Rights themselves may be out. We'll see. So second Augur happens for David. I believe he took a Thought Scour.
Drowns himself. Gerard Fabiano
hits Sphinx's Revelation, Rest in Peace, and one other card that I can't make out, but
Syncopate?
Could be a Syncopate. It's hard to tell. It's foil, I believe. A Duress
I think
from
it's
Gerard.
a foil Hallowed Fountain.
Could be that too, yeah. But the key card there, Rest in Peace, that he milled, he has 2 copies. Doesn't really work with Snapcaster. So Duress on the stack right now. And McDarby's going to dissipate it. Wants to protect his hand. Wants to protect the information there. He does have an Unburial Rights. I did get a peek, so he did keep that plan.
Jace Memory Adept.
And so basically Gerard says, I'm going to duress you to make sure there's no counter spells for this Jace.
Draw and mill himself.
And Duress draws a counter spell instead. So Gerard is able to land that Jace anyway. That Jace, David can put that Jace down to 1 counter here if he wants, or deal with it some other way.
Unburial Rights in David McDarby's hand, I believe.
I saw it as well. Yep. Does have Unburial Rights. He does also, I believe, have a negate, which would have been nice last turn against the Jace, but he did not have 2 mana up. Just taking a look at his graveyard. He's got 6 lands in play. Down a game here to Gerard Fabiano, David McDarby, and his updated Solar Flare list, trying to kind of press the creature advantage he has, although there's a Jace on the other side of the board. So he's going to go ahead and knock Jace down to 1 counter. Going to be able to deal with it in 2 turns. Well, next turn, technically. 2 turns if you count that attack.
David McDarby has a Solar Flare, pardon me.
Unburial Rights?
No, it was
Planar
Cleansing
yes.
in hand.
Gerard activates Jace, puts it up to 2 counters, gets a draw card and mill himself. He is going to use Drownyard. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not using Drownyard. He's casting Supreme Verdict. That will protect his Jace.
End of the turn, Faithless Looting. Or, pardon me, not looting.
Forbidden Alchemy.
The blue Faithless Looting.
Yes.
Getting cards into the graveyard.
Yeah, and you see he hits another cleansing there. There are 2 in his board, and he looks like he brought them both in wisely against some of the planeswalkers he's been seeing. You're expecting to see. Trying to make a decision on as to what to take here. Can't quite see what his options are. Not getting a great look.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Planar Cleansing, Lingering Souls, Forbidden Alchemy, and a land.
Yeah, I think that looks right. Now that he's shifted his hands. And he goes with Lingering Souls.
Yes.
Untaps, draws a negate.
That was an awesome draw.
And he's going to cast Lingering Souls here. Now, I believe Gerard has Syncopate in hand, but it's not going to do anything in this case because McDarby has plenty of mana to pay. So, first half of Lingering Souls resolves, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and flash it back. And that one, according to what we're seeing here, looks like that one is resolved as well. So,
or not?
Or not, yeah. Gerard says Psychic Strike.
Negate, says David.
Negate your Psychic Strike. So, the Spirits stick, and Gerard drew Obsidat.
Yeah, Obsidat there.
Jace looks like he's going to tick up yet again. Draw Gerard a card and mill himself the Mills Supreme Verdict. That is the card he'd rather have drawn there. Finds a Dimir Charm.
1 Dimir Charm in Gerard's deck.
Also 1 Snapcaster Mage, as we've seen. He has an extended art version, or I guess you call it. It's an altered version of Snapcaster Mage. Not seeing that in his hand, but we know that he would like to Verdict here, I think, just to protect the Jace. So if he had access to that Snapcaster or another Verdict, he would be able to do it. Plays his land. His hand is 2 Syncopate Obsidat, and I'm not getting much of a look beyond that. There goes Obsidat. So McDarby tapped out, and Obsidat comes down, and Gerard passes the turn, blinks him out. So there's a little drain happening as he comes in, and another drain on tap for Gerard's next turn. All right, all 4 spirits coming at Jace. Gerard says, fine, you dealt with Jace.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan, here with Joey Pasco. You are seeing Gerard, Fabiano, and David McDarby duking it out here in round 8 of 10 here. 554 players in this tournament. These 2 players right near the top of the standings, Gerard with Esper Control, David McDarby, the same colors, but he is in fact Solar Flare.
Yeah, quite a different take on the list, although a lot of cards overlap. Namely the Mana Base, but some others as well. So we have some more Lingering Spirits coming into play. And speaking of coming into play, here comes Obsidat. He's back again.
Obsidat attacks.
Also drains on that entry.
And he's like, and he goes away.
Yeah, end my turn, Obsidat goes away. David at 8.
Ooh, Gristlebrand. Ooh, ooh.
That's a spicy one.
Spicy meatball.
Show us Obsidat, Choi. I just like to look at the artwork. There's Gristlebrand. Maybe you want to show us Gristlebrand as if
Gristlebrand is going to get syncopated.
Yeah, hard cast Gristlebrand and Syncopate from Gerard with 2 mana. Nice little force spike action. There's Obsidat. Very cool artwork too, I think. Svetlin Velinov, the artist on that. As you can see, it is currently not off camera, but to the side of Gerard's yellow library there, because it is currently exiled. So Gerard has been draining when it comes into play and letting it exile during his end step. So very cool little card. Haven't it hasn't seen a ton of play, but people are fitting it in the list. Shaheen Surani, also a big fan, and both David and Gerard have it in their deck.
Obsidat comes on in.
Yeah, another drain. Gerard back up to 20 life. David at 6.
Quintuple block.
Everybody blocks.
Oh, Demir charm to kill one of them.
And Gerard.
That means Obsidat does not die.
No, Obsidat does not die. We're checking the text on Demir charm to make sure that
kills a small thing.
Yes, it swats one of those spirits. It was kind of like a swarm of little flies try to get in Obsidat's way, and one of them was swatted away. It's kind of funny because it was spirits fighting ghosts, which I guess makes sense.
Oh my goodness gracious. Obsidat in the yard from Thoughtscour.
Now Gerard wants to do probably everything he can to prevent McDarby from getting that Obsidat into play. And I believe McDarby is pretty much thinking, I need to get Obsidat into play.
We see Unburial Rites from the
Unburial
graveyard
Rites,
targeting Obsidat.
Yeah, Obsidat is on top there.
And there's a
Gerard.
negate in David McDarby's hand to protect this.
There's
a syncopate. He's going to need to spend 5 mana total to syncopate for 4, leaving him very little left. All of the marbles here for David McDarby. Does this negate work? It does. He drains 2 life from Gerard Fabiano, goes up to 8. Gerard down to 18, and Obsidats are going to be fighting against each other momentarily. Legend rule, bang bang, they both die.
Now the funny thing is, McDarby could have phased his out, and Gerard's phased back in, and they could literally both be controlling an Obsidat, alternating if that's their decision. If they decided they didn't want to remove the other Obsidat.
Yeah, if they wanted to do it for funsies.
Yeah, but I mean, the drain would keep happening back and forth as well. So it would be like, you lose 2, you gain 2. I lose 2, I gain 2. You know, like. Or you lose 2, I gain, you know what I mean. So, very interesting little situation. Instead, they decided to do it the boring way and just deal with the legend roll, and Obsidat's gone.
The boring way, which keeps David McDarby alive. Oh,
well, unless Gerard plays another Obsidat.
And Obsidat flies into the remove from game area. David McDarby, though, with an Unburial Rites again, as well as an Angel of Serenity. I think that what he's probably going to do is the slightly more safe play of unburying his Obsidat just to have it out there.
Yeah, just basically removing Gerard's Obsidat again. Kind of what he did last time. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem with the Angel of Serenity play, which maybe he'll do.
He could Angel removing his own Obsidat.
There we go. That's what I like to see, because what this lets him do is he gains that 2 life buffer, so that at the very end, Lily ups, +1, discard Angel, discard some card for Gerard, it's the Supreme Verdict. This just gives him a little bit more protection in case something goes awry.
So, it's funny, the drain happens, but then the legend rule destroys them both. So, Gerard's going to take a peek at David's graveyard here and try to establish what exactly David is capable of should he have access to another Unburial Rites. Now that was a hard cast Unburial Rites from the hand, so there's still, that one is in the graveyard there, so he definitely has access to at least one more casting of an Unburial Rites currently, based on the cards that we know. David, though, at 4 life, and Gerard has Snapcaster. He's going to Snapcaster Sphinx's Revelation, and he's just going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4 cards, and oh, he looks like he's going all in. 6 cards.
Rocking the boat. Can you beat Sphinx for 6?
Now, this is all Gerard's turn here. He is leaving, he's ending the turn tapped out, but he is taking the opportunity to resolve the Sphinx's Revelation when David is tapped out. So, I imagine David deals with that Snapcaster with Liliana, just since his life total is so low, but he could have other plans. He maybe...
Is that a Pithing Needle he just drew?
Yes, he has Planar Cleansing, Angel of Serenity, and Pithing Needle. This is, okay, I'm sorry, he's not at 4, he's at 6.
Yeah, there we go, that's what I thought. This is why I was talking about the Obsidian play earlier. It kept him alive should something go wrong. Whereas the Angel of Serenity play, he could potentially die that turn. That +2 life matters a lot.
All right, McDarby's turn, still trying to figure out exactly how he wants to do this. He is going to go ahead and resolve an Unburial Rites. And he is looking to see what his targets are. We know he can choose Angel of Serenity, he can choose Obsidat, but I think that's all he's got as far as options. Looks like Obsidat, no, now he's favoring the Angel, and he's going with the Angel. Angel is going to remove Obsidat, though, so that will still give it back. And Augur of Bolus as target number 2. And yeah, so he is dealing with that Snapcaster one way or another. Does not want to die to just an attacking Snapcaster over and over again.
Let's both discard, he says.
And land for Gerard, planar cleansing for McDarby. McDarby with a Liliana on 5. Gerard with a Tribute to Hunger in hand. Also an ultimate price. So he's thinking here. How do I want to do this? Arranging his mana quite a bit differently. And there's Gideon! All right, so I thought he wouldn't bring it in here, but maybe if he's using it the way I was thinking he might be using it. There you see Gideon. He's basically kind of using that as another Obsidat. It's going to tick up to 5, right? In fact, it ticked up to 6 here because his opponent actually had a creature, but it's at least going to tick up to 5 when you +1 it, whether they have creatures or not. And then the 0 ability, until end of turn, Gideon becomes an indestructible human soldier creature with power and toughness equal to the number of loyalty counters on it, so he's a 5/5. He's still a planeswalker to prevent all damage that would be dealt to him or her, or him this turn, I'm sorry. And so you've got a 5/5 that dodges sorcery speed removal for the most part. I mean, unless it's planeswalker, you have like a Dreadbore is going to work, but it's kind of like another Obsidat. In this case, he's a 6/6.
Both players discard. Obsidat discard by David.
And ultimate price from Gerard, which is kind of a surprise too, because ultimate price does deal with Angel should things get out of hand. Second Angel, this one hard cast from David McDarby. Now that Gideon is not a creature.
Gerard has some stuff to think about here. One thing though, Gerard does have game 1 in the bag, and the time is ticking down.
Yeah, this is looking like David's playing for a draw at this point. David realizes I've got an Obsidat under the other Angel. Maybe I don't need Obsidat under this Angel, but he does look like he's deciding on it. He's got the Augur Obsidat, and so there's the targets. In response, Gerard has what was it? Another ultimate price.
Yep. Now, David, the Angel ability is a May ability, so he chooses not to remove those creatures from the game forever.
Right, but he did have to target. Yes.
Names Gideon.
Unless he named Liliana, he may just have wanted to make sure that he didn't discard Aim of Pledge with Liliana. I doubt it. Probably Gideon.
Gerard in a very interesting position right now. His opponent tapped out.
Has 1 creature and at 6 life. And Gerard taps 4, gets a Restoration Angel into play. And I think we're going to see Tribute attack, maybe attack Lily here. I think you need to deal with Lily somehow. Needle names Gideon. I think there was just confirmation happening there. Top of the deck has...
David's like, here, there we go.
Top of the deck is a Sphinx's Revelation for Gerard, so still plenty of time left that he's able to buy. He does Tribute to Hunger away the Angel of Serenity from David McDarby, who will get back an Obsidat and I believe an Augur of Bolus. Gerard gets back a Snapcaster Mage. And that could be very relevant as well, because now Gerard has access to Snapcaster Ultimate Price, or Snapcaster Tribute to Hunger, or Snapcaster Supreme Verdict, or whatever. Snapcaster Sphinx's Revelation, which we saw him do earlier. So now it looks like on the attack, Restoration Angel knocks Lily down to 3. Why is she on
-2 to hit?
Oh, she -2. Oh, I didn't realize the turn had been passed.
Yeah,
that's what.
Now, you might remember that Gerard Fabiano cast a fairly hefty Sphinx's Revelation earlier, and he is currently nearly out of cards in hand, despite having Sphinxed for a lot earlier.
So what he does there in response to Liliana's sacrifice ability, he casts Snapcaster Mage, gives Psychic Strike flashback, and then sacrifices the Snapcaster Mage. So Psychic Strike currently sitting in Gerard's graveyard, but it has flashback until the end of David's turn. So David a little bit tied up as far as what he's able to do here, because it's basically like his opponent has a live counterspell.
Wow, Unburial Rites from David McDarby. An excellent card in this grindy matchup. Each side of Unburial Rites demands an answer from Gerard.
So we see an Obsidat, and Gerard says, okay, that's nice, that's juicy enough for me to target with Psychic Strike. I'm fine with that. So he Psychic Strikes, untaps. David McDarby at 6 life has a Pithing Needle, a Liliana, and an Augur of Bolus. Pithing Needle naming Gideon, which is actually on Gerard's side of the board with 6 counters on it.
Duress you.
And he sees Liliana and Unburial Rites. So nothing too exciting. He takes the Liliana there. Unburial Rites, the lone card in David's hand. Gerard is going to attack. He's trying to decide does he want to kill Lily? Does he want to well, he would like to kill David eventually, for sure. Looks like he attacks David.
Yep, David now at 3.
This is the best match I think I've seen all day.
I agree.
This is awesome. David with a very cool list.
28-1.
Apparently David is at 1. We must have missed maybe a Shockland that came into play untapped or something. Not quite sure, but McDarby now at 1. And a little bit of a question here. Off the top of Forbidden Alchemy for David, so he's able to dig a little further, find something. He also has that Unburial Rites in hand, and it looks like that is the spell that is about to hit the stack. Meanwhile, as we were chatting, Gerard did resolve another Sphinx's Revelation. So he is targeting Obsidat with the Unburial Rites.
Okay. I think that if that's the case, the life totals must not be correct. Oh, or he's just dead. Or he's just dead.
Yeah, is really unable to do anything other than gain 2 life, go up to 3, and then lose to a Restoration Angel. So Gerard Fabiano with Esper Control